Here we go. Welcome to another episode of Braves Country News. I'm your host, Kel Diestel. Along with me are my co-hosts, Turner Mark Walter and Mick Barnett.
What's going on, guys? How's it going? What a beautiful day it is for Braves Country today.
It is. It's a great day to be a Braves fan right now. We got some big news headed your way. Kel, why don't you take us in?
So, as many of y'all may have heard by now, but on November 14th, the Braves struck early and signed all-star reliever Will Smith to a 3-year, $39 million deal, on average making $13 million a year with a club option for 2023 for $13 million again and a buyout of $1 million. Of course, that doesn't matter now because we are only going in the year 2019. But yeah, Will Smith is an all-star reliever. Not sure what he's going to be used as. Mick, you got some stats on him real quick?
Yeah, man. So he had 63 appearances for 64 innings pitched last year, which is a solid spot for a reliever. That's about how many innings they pitch in a year. So with a 2.76 ERA, a 3.23 FIP, it's great numbers, better than average out of any other bullpen guy you'll see. He didn't even start the year as a closer too, so that's also a big thing that you can come into the fact. But 34 saves as a closer last year. Of course, a perfect record. 96 strikeouts, 13.2 strikeouts per 9, which is insanely high. But he did have a 2.89 walks per 9, which isn't the worst. It can definitely be improved upon. But as a relief pitcher, those kind of stats can get stressed out a bit, especially when you only pitch 65 innings. But the big thing is his stats against left-handers. A lefty batting average of only 157 last year. And I think it was like a three something OPS. I mean, he absolutely kills the left-handers. Not as much so on the right-handers, but it still factors in and it averages out.
And I mean, we're still planning on using Melancon as the primary closer. I mean, that's what they said right now.
That's what DOB yesterday.
That's what they said right now. But I mean, how bullpen things can change as fast as they did last year. I remember when we traded for Shane Green before the deadline, they were saying that he was going to be our closer, and then less than a week later, Melancon was the closer for the rest of the year. So I mean, it's really just going to be time. Time will tell. I mean, probably Melancon will start out in the 9th inning, and if he isn't working out there, then they'll probably swap the two. I honestly would prefer Smith in the 9th inning just because he's just the best reliever on our team. But I guess, I mean, I don't really have a way of thinking like why they would prefer Melancon in the 9th. Maybe just because he's already been there for us in a way. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, that's like I said. I mean, it's November 14th, or well, whenever he signed, it was November 14th. And I mean, when are closers or bullpen roles ever given and assigned on November 14th? Never. I mean, we'll know come spring training, come opening day, what position it is. But it's looking like SNIT and AA may be going the route that a lot of teams are going right now, and just saying, hey, we're not going to have defined roles. We're not going to have closer, setup guy, middle reliever, any of that. We're going to go straight and just say, hey, we're going to use our best reliever when we need him the most. So
I like that.
So if we have bases, if we have bases loaded and only one out in the 8th inning, and you're like, well, I mean, Luke Jackson, let's just go with Luke Jackson, even though I'm a big Luke Jackson fan. Let's say he's not getting the job done, and he's walked 2 straight batters to load the bases up. Hey, I mean, if you have Melancon or Green, I'm going to go with Green. Not Green. If you have Melancon, Green, or Smith, I'm going to go with Smith just because he's been – the past few years, he's been proven more. While Melancon is kind of he's going to be 35. He's going to be kind of towards the end of his he's out of his prime, but towards the end of his career. I'm not saying he's not any good though, because he is. He did great for us last season. But I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes. But hey, guys, I mean, AA striking early. I mean, who would have?
Oh my goodness, yeah, I know. I mean, I know we struck early last year with the Donaldson and McCann signings at the end of November last year, but I mean, I know none of us were expecting a bombshell like this to be dropped at this time. And I mean, it makes sense because I know Will Smith's agent, I forgot his name, but they were he employed a great tactic that we all figured out today. He was basically telling other teams since Will Smith signed, had a qualifying offer netted to him by the Giants, which was 17.8 million, that he would take the qualifying offer of 17.8 million if he didn't get that multi-year deal, right?
Yeah.
And I feel, that's a great tactic because, it eventually netted him a deal today because, he had to accept the qualifying offer today or he wouldn't get it. Because, a reliever getting 17.8 million a year, my goodness. That's just an insane number for a reliever. So I could see why he would want to take it. But obviously he would much rather go the security route, get less money for more guaranteed years.
Especially the way the free agent market's been the past few years. He doesn't want to go through that. No one wants to go through that. And to have a big contract just sitting there on the table saying, hey, we can pay you this much that you're overpriced for, and then you can come back next year and be a free agent, again in the market and test your luck again. No, he was either going to get this deal or he was definitely going to accept that. And there's,
like I said, though, some of the implications that happened with him being extended a qualifying offer, good move by the Giants because the Braves are now having to forfeit their second highest draft pick. So that'll be the second round. So with that being said, that kind of limits us, or I don't want to say limits us, but if I know AA, based on some of his comments, that he doesn't like giving up draft picks, it may limit us the rest of the offseason. And, we won't go after some of the guys who have a qualifying offer unless Donaldson walks.
A's really preparing for the worst here, and the fact that he would go get a guy with a qualifying offer as his first big move, like if anyone's big move, he's preparing for the worst of Donaldson leaving. So you know that A doesn't like to go get take away draft picks. So that's what inclines him to think that Donaldson, if he walks, the worst case scenario is we haven't lost any draft picks, and so that's what makes getting Will Smith almost like it cancels out almost.
Exactly. And another thing that I was saying about this was it's just like the magnitude of like the amount of money that we signed him for. Because we $18 million is a lot for a reliever, but so is $13 million per year. It still is a lot. And seeing that, with our current payroll, our payroll now, I saw it sits probably close to $100 million. And last year opening day payroll, weren't we at 114? Yes. So. This is just me saying this, me as a novice Braves fan. If you don't sign a reliever for $13 million a year, thinking that your payroll is not already going to go up a lot from where it was last year. Because, given our needs already, like third base, catcher, and starting pitching, this $13 million a year makes it seem like that we're going to go the route of spending a little everywhere, trying to improve every position that we can.
And I know we were very upset with Liberty Media last year.
Definitely.
At the same time, though, I like seeing the innocence in everybody. And I want to believe the whole reason they didn't want to spend is because they wanted to make sure this team was ready to win. The young core they have, and make sure that the year before wasn't a fluke, which was proven it's not. So I honestly think our final total of payroll last year when the season ended was about 140.
Yes.
So I honestly I'm a believer that our opening day payroll will be between the 140 150 million.
I agree.
Like you said, it's just you don't go out and pay a reliever that much whenever you have other holes you need to fill beforehand.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm not upset about the signing at all.
My gosh, not by any means.
Our bullpen last year at the opening day was our weakness, and now it's turned into probably our strength. One of our strengths on our team.
Honestly, now you could say that what our top three guys in our bullpen could go toe to toe with any other top three guys in any other bullpen. You've got Will Smith. Proven himself as the best closer last year in baseball. Melancon, was a part of the whole Giants run. Not the whole time, but he was a big key in the later runs that the Giants had for the championships. And then Shane Green, who was also one of the other best closers last year on the Tigers before we had traded for him. So, it's looking real nice. It's looking real nice.
like I said, this signing all around was a great signing for the Braves, and I can't wait to see what this rest of the offseason holds. It's a pivotal offseason.
If it means one thing and one thing only, it's that AA means business. Coming out the gate with a big signing like that, big contract, best reliever on the market, it's an idea of what's to come for the Braves.
Exactly. Turner, got any last thoughts too?
I mean, signing a guy like Will Smith, like the pedigree that he brings, that he has to this team this early, it shows a lot to what really this offseason could turn out to be. It could turn out to be like another 2018 where we just make these first couple moves and then we just back away off entirely. But I feel like this offseason can be a lot different given that we have more needs that we need to address compared to last year.
Yeah. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Braves Country News. Like we said, this was a little emergency episode because on November 14th, we had the signing of Will Smith. Can't wait to see what the rest of this offseason holds for the Atlanta Braves. Your back-to-back National League East champs. Can't wait to see what happens. Thank you for joining us again. Like I said, follow us on Braves Country News on Instagram and on Twitter. And that's going to do it for another episode of Braves Country News. Thank you all, and chop on.
Yes, sir. Chop on.